Picture this. You are standing at a gathering, or maybe you're logging into a brand new Zoom class for the very first time.
Oh, I know that feeling well.
Right. The host looks at you, they smile, and they say those terrifying words. They say, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
And suddenly your mind just goes completely blank.
Completely blank. Your heart starts beating fast. Every English word you have ever learned just like vanishes from your brain. You just want to run away.
It is a very common feeling, honestly, and it's incredibly stressful. When you're trying to speak a new language, simply saying hello can feel like climbing a mountain.
Exactly. But what if it didn't have to be that way? Welcome to our deep dive. Today we're taking a close look at some very practical advice from our sources. It's a guide called How to Talk About Yourself in English.
Yes, and it's such a helpful resource.
It really is. And if you are learning English right now, or even if you just get nervous meeting new people, we are so glad you're here with us. We're going to explore why introducing yourself feels so hard and how a simple plan can make it much, much easier.
Yeah, and I want to set a very warm, encouraging tone right from the start here. This guide we're looking at, it isn't a strict list of grammar rules.
Thank goodness.
Right. It's not about being perfect. It's really a guide about how to connect with other human beings. Our sources provide a clear, comfortable plan.
So we're going to break it down.
Exactly. We'll look at how to start with the basics, how to share your hobbies, how to talk about your work or study goals, and finally, how to practice.
Okay, let's unpack this. The source text says the very first step is just sharing your name, your age, and where you're from.
The basic foundation.
Right, the foundation. And the text gives us a very simple example to use. It says, "Hi, my name is Alex. I'm 28 years old and I'm from Chicago."
Very straightforward.
It is. But I have to be honest here. I read that and thought, isn't that a little boring?
Boring? How so?
Well, it almost feels like reading a police report. If I just say, I'm Alex, I'm 28, I'm from Chicago, am I missing a chance to show them how fun and interesting I am right at the start?
That's a very common worry, actually. But think about what is happening in the other person's brain when they first meet you. Meeting someone new takes a lot of energy.
Oh, that's true. It's a lot to process.
Yes. So if you start by telling a long, complicated joke or, sharing a deep philosophy, it's actually too much information. By just sharing your name, age, and city, you're giving their brain a safe, easy place to land.
Oh, I see. So it's not about being boring at all. It's about being clear and helpful to the listener.
Precisely. What's fascinating here is how these simple facts act as conversational anchors. When you state your name, your age, and your city clearly, you immediately remove the awkwardness.
You give them something easy to grab onto.
Yes. You give the other person the tools to talk back to you. They can say, "Oh, Chicago. I hear it's really windy there." Or, "I have a cousin who lives in Chicago."
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You're basically doing the hard work for them. You don't have to invent some brilliant opening line. Is giving these basic facts, like handing someone a personal business card, but the friendly tone is the secret ingredient that makes them actually want to read it.
That is a great way to put it, yes. The text actually adds a specific rule here. It says you must always speak clearly and use a friendly tone.
So even if the words are basic, the music of your voice has to do the heavy lifting.
Exactly. Your tone of voice tells them a story. A friendly tone signals that you're safe, you're approachable, and you're happy to be there. It tells them, "I want to talk to you."
Right, because if you say, "I'm from Chicago," while staring at the floor and sounding angry,
the words don't matter at all. The other person will just want to walk away.
So we've successfully handed over our basic facts. We used a friendly tone. We survived the first 10 seconds.
Epic victory.
Huge victory. But now there's usually this awkward silence. I feel like if I just stop there, the conversation will die. How do we actually get them interested in talking to us for real?
Well, that is the next step in our guide. You move from the basic facts to sharing your hobbies and interests.
Adding some color to the picture.
Yes. This is where you go from being just, a person from Chicago to being a unique individual. Sharing what you do for fun helps others understand your personality.
The text gives us 3 great short examples of hobbies. It mentions enjoying reading novels, playing basketball, and meeting friends for coffee on weekends.
Very relatable activities.
Right. But it gives a crucial piece of advice here. It says you must always explain why you like these activities. This seems to be the secret ingredient.
It really is. Without the why, a hobby is just a dead end in a conversation.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If I simply say, "I like playing basketball," people usually just say, "Oh, cool." And then The silence comes back.
Exactly.
But the text says explaining the why makes your sentences more natural. So if I say, I play basketball because it helps me relax after a long day, does that act like an open door?
It does.
Am I basically inviting the other person to step into my world?
Yes, absolutely. You transform a dead end into a pathway. If you just state the fact about basketball, there's nowhere to go. But when you add the why, because it helps you relax, you give them an emotion to connect with.
Wow. So even if they don't play basketball, they understand the feeling.
Precisely. Maybe the other person hates basketball, but I guarantee they understand the feeling of needing to relax after a long, hard day.
Yeah.
You've created a bridge.
That is such a powerful trick for someone learning English. You don't need a massive, complicated vocabulary. You just need to share the feeling.
Exactly.
Like, I enjoy reading novels because it lets me explore new worlds. Or I enjoy getting coffee on weekends because I love catching up with my friends. You're sharing the emotion, not just the activity.
And people connect through shared emotions. It's human nature. But we do need to look at the warning the text gives for this stage.
Oh, yes. The guide is very clear about what not to do. It says you should avoid giving too much detail, and you must avoid saying negative things about yourself.
This is very important.
But wait, shouldn't we be honest? Also, why is it so important to avoid negative things at this stage? What if I really hate my job, and complaining about it is my favorite hobby? Shouldn't I show them the real me?
This raises an important question. Honesty is important in deep friendships, obviously, but we have to remember the goal of a first impression.
Right, we're just meeting them.
Exactly. When you first meet someone, it's like building a very small, fragile bridge between the two of you.
Okay, I like that image, a fragile little bridge.
Right. If you share too much heavy detail, or if you share negative things right away, it's simply too much weight. Imagine saying, I like coffee, but my boss is terrible and I'm really bad at my job and I'm so tired all the time.
Oh, wow. That completely breaks the bridge. It overwhelms the new connection.
It's exhausting just listening to that, isn't it?
Totally. I'd want to run away from that person at the party.
Exactly. Keeping the conversation positive and focused on the why behind your hobbies builds a natural connection. It keeps the energy light and inviting.
You want them to feel good around you?
Right. You want this new person to associate you with positive feelings. You're showing them your world, but you're not asking them to carry your heavy luggage.
Don't ask them to carry your luggage. I love that. Keep it light, positive, and open.
So we've talked about the party setting or, making friends.
Yes.
But the guide also covers environments where introductions feel a lot more serious. We're talking about professional situations, job interviews, business meetings, or maybe the first day at university.
Yes, the stakes are definitely higher here. In these settings, you need to talk about your work, your daily studies, or your career goals.
Right.
But the rules aren't actually that different.
The text gives us two really helpful examples to follow for this. The first one is, I work as a graphic designer, and I love creating new designs.
Great example.
And the second one is, I'm studying English because I want to travel and meet new people. So what does this all mean? When we are in an interview, we aren't just reciting a resume, right?
No, definitely not. By focusing on why being a graphic designer or studying English is meaningful, are we essentially proving our passion rather than just stating our job title?
Because a list of skills is forgettable. Explaining the meaning behind your work shows purpose. It shows the interviewer or the teacher that you aren't just a robot completing tasks.
But doesn't the job title matter most? Like, if I'm applying to be a designer, I just need them to know I'm a designer.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, human beings have terrible memories for raw facts, but we have amazing memories for feelings and stories.
Oh, that makes sense.
When an interviewer talks to 10 people in one day, the job titles all blur together, but they will remember how someone felt about their work.
Wow. So when the example says, I'm studying English because I want to travel and meet new people,
Yeah.
you aren't just a student anymore.
Exactly. You become an adventurer. You're someone who is curious about the world. That is highly memorable.
It paints a picture.
It does. And notice how both examples follow that same rule of positivity we talked about earlier.
Right. Even if being a graphic designer is really hard and, your clients drive you crazy, you focus on the part you love, creating new designs. It shows you're an optimistic person.
Which is exactly the kind of person people want to hire or have in their classroom.
Okay, let's take a breath and look at what we've built so far. We have 3 main pillars for introducing ourselves.
The foundation, the color, and the polish.
Yes. The foundation, our basic facts, name, age, city. The color, our hobbies, and the positive why behind them. And the professional, polish our work or studies, and the meaning behind them. But here's my biggest problem with all of this.
What's that?
I can read these examples all day, I can write them down perfectly in my notebook, but knowing what to say feels completely useless if my mouth freezes up when the actual moment arrives.
And that is exactly why the final section of our source text is about execution and practice.
Because knowing the English words in your head is only half the battle.
Getting them out of your mouth naturally is the other half.
The text gives us some very physical directions here. It says you need to speak slowly, speak clearly, and this is a big one smile while talking to sound confident.
Yes.
It also gives us some methods to practice. It suggests practicing with friends, with family, or by recording yourself on your phone.
Practice is the bridge between your brain and your mouth. You have to walk across it before you meet someone real.
Okay, I have to push back a little on one of these practice methods. Practicing with a friend, fine. But recording myself? That sounds terrifying.
It is intimidating for a lot of people.
Listening to my own voice on a recording is already bad enough. But listening to myself struggle in a new language, why would I put myself through that torture?
It is incredibly uncomfortable. I completely agree. No one likes hearing their own recorded voice.
It sounds so weird, like it's not even me.
It does.
Yeah.
But think about an athlete. A basketball player doesn't just shoot hoops. They watch video recordings of their games.
Oh, like game tape.
Exactly. They have to see exactly where their feet were wrong or why they missed the shot. The voice recorder on your phone is an honest mirror.
I guess that makes sense. It's like an athlete watching game tape to improve. If I just practice in my head, I sound perfect. But if I record it, I can hear if I'm speaking too fast because I'm nervous.
Right.
Or I can hear if I completely forgot to explain the why behind my hobby.
Exactly. It lets you hear what the other person is going to hear.
Yeah.
And that brings us to that really interesting physical action the text mentioned, smiling while talking.
Yes. The text says to smile while talking to sound confident. Now, obviously, a smile looks friendly, but does the physical act of smiling actually change the way your confidence comes across in English? Can people literally hear a smile?
They absolutely can. If we connect this to the bigger picture, smiling isn't just a visual thing for the face, it's a physical change in your throat and mouth.
Wait, really?
Yeah. When you pull your lips back into a smile, the shape of your mouth changes. It literally alters the way the sound waves come out. It makes your voice sound brighter and warmer to the human ear.
That is amazing. So even if I'm doing a job interview over the telephone and they can't even see my face, I should still smile.
Yes. Because when we get nervous, especially speaking a new language, our vocal cords get tight. Our voices go up a little bit and we sound tense.
I definitely do that.
Smiling naturally relaxes those muscles. It tricks your own brain into feeling more confident, and the listener hears a warm, relaxed voice on the other end of the phone.
That is such a simple but powerful tool. Speak slowly, speak clearly, and smile so they can hear the warmth. Now, the text gives us one final, ultimate formula to remember when we put all of this together.
The balance.
Right. It says, remember, when you talk about yourself, balance the three main points: who you are, what you enjoy, and what you do.
Balance is the most important word in that sentence.
Because if I only talk about being a graphic designer for 10 straight minutes, I don't sound like a person. I sound like a walking resume.
Yes. And if you only talk about your name, age, and city, the conversation goes nowhere.
And if I only talk about drinking coffee and playing basketball, the person interviewing me for a job might think I'm not serious enough.
Precisely. Balancing all 3 points, your basic identity, your hobbies, and your work, is the key. That balance creates a complete, rounded picture of who you are.
It's all about mixing it properly.
Yes. You give them the basics to ground the conversation, you give them the hobbies to show your human side, and you give them your goals to show your drive.
It's like baking a cake. You need the flour, the sugar, and the eggs. If you leave one out or, use too much of one, it ruins the whole thing.
That's a perfect analogy. And the text promises that if you practice balancing these 3 ingredients, you will sound confident, friendly, and interesting in any situation.
Well, let's summarize this winning formula for everyone listening today. If you want to master the art of introducing yourself in English, don't panic. Start with the clear basics.
Keep it simple.
Be like Alex from Chicago. Give your name, your age, and your location with a warm tone to give the listener a safe place to start. Next, share your positive hobbies and, most importantly, the why behind them to build a bridge to your personality.
That emotional connection.
Exactly. Then explain the meaning behind your work or studies to show your passion. And finally, be brave. Practice balancing these 3 pillars out loud.
Don't skip the practice.
Record yourself even if it feels embarrassing.
Yeah.
And never forget to smile so your voice sounds confident and warm.
It really is a fantastic practical guide. And I want to leave you with one final thought to explore on your own.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
We talked about how uncomfortable it is to record and analyze your own voice, but next time you meet someone new, try to listen very closely to how they introduce themselves, even in their native language.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Notice what they do. Do they achieve this perfect balance of identity, hobbies, and work? Or do they lean too heavily on just complaining about their job?
Or forget to explain why they like their hobbies.
Exactly. Observing the mistakes and successes of other people in the real world might just be the best secret weapon for your own practice.
That is brilliant. You can learn so much just by paying attention to how other people introduce themselves. Because remember, every time you meet someone new, whether it's at a party or on a Zoom screen, you now have the exact formula to start things right.
You are fully prepared.
You can step into that conversation with a smile and know exactly what to say. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and we'll catch you next time.